The Double Take Collection event also marks the mid-season update for Apex Season 21, where there's also going to be a lot of pretty big changes that we need to discuss. So let's take a look at the huge changes coming in the new update tomorrow on Apex Legends. Starting with this. Sigma stepping is removed. In the patch notes, the devs said that they fixed players getting extra velocity from upgraded jump pads using certain inputs. So if you didn't already know, this was a super simple trick that you could do by pressing backwards direction and jump at the same time while using your double jump on the upgraded Octane jump pads. To give you super horizontal momentum on your double jump, which looked really awesome, it meant you could go super far on these special Octane jump pads, and this was known as Sigma stepping, and Respawn were very quick to kill this new movement tech, so we'll just have to wait and see what crazy movement tech comes next. But on to another huge change. Bangalore smoke is also being changed. For better or worse, I'm not too sure yet, but now all players within smoke will now have a white highlight visible to other players in the smoke within 20 meters. So if you're in the smoke fighting someone else that's in the smoke, then you'll get threat vision without having a digi-threat scope, pretty much. This will stop you using Bangalore smoke to sit inside the smoke and fight people up close if you already have a digi-threat or some kind of scan ability. But if you are using the smoke as cover from enemies that are mid to long range, then nothing will change because you won't be highlighted. You'll only be highlighted to players that are also in the smoke within 20 meters. So I'm not too sure what to think of this just yet. I'm not sure how it will play. I think you're going to see a lot less aggressive Bangalore plays with this because your smoke is pretty useless if you are just fighting someone up close, as it's not going to protect you from them because they can see exactly where you are. And Bloodhound's ultimate will now no longer provide threat vision through smoke. So the devs are trying to push back on the Banghound meta. Teams have been playing Bloodhound and Bangalore a lot, and that's because of course you can just pop the Bang smoke and then use Bloodhound scan, and you basically have wall hacks at this point. And now this is being completely nerfed, so we might see some different metas make their way into ALGS, which I think is going to be interesting, and I think the devs have made the right decision here, but we'll have to see how this transitions into regular competitive play and in pubs for the casual players. But other than nerfing Bloodhound and Bangalore for the Banghound meta, Bloodhound has also been adjusted and their perks have been changed. So the level 2 perk, Raven's Blessing, has been nerfed a little bit so that you only get 20% ult charge instead of 25% from scanning white ravens, and the level 3 perks for Bloodhound have been completely reworked. The first perk is called Sighthound, where you get a reduced tactical cooldown by 50% while the ult is active, which is going to make an ulting Bloodhound a lot more powerful. And then the next level 3 perk is called Flock, which removes enemy range requirements for white ravens to spawn. So you'll be able to find white ravens no matter if there are enemies right nearby, and this will make the Raven passive more viable in the late game when the zone is smaller and all the enemies are close by. White ravens wouldn't spawn, which would give you no intel on which direction the teams were, but of course in these final zones, if you pick this perk, you can scan white ravens and find exactly which direction the last enemy teams are hiding. I think a lot of people will prefer to choose the Sighthound perk, but maybe if in the late game Flock seems useful, you could go for it, but really I think Sighthound is just 10 times better. And while we're on the topic of the Bangalore Bloodhound nerfs, the 4 to 10 times digital threat will also no longer provide threat vision through smoke or gas. So they're really trying to eliminate the digi threats, and I think they're doing a pretty good job at that, that's for sure. But let's move on to ranked. At the end of season 21, from August 3rd to August 6th, ranked Rumble will take over regular ranked. This will be a Rumble tournament in the same style that we saw before with 3 strikes, but each rank will have its own leaderboard. So whichever rank you are by August 3rd will be the ranked Rumble tournament that you can play in. So if you're Platinum by August 3rd in the second rank split of season 21, then when you play ranked Rumble, you'll be playing in the Platinum rank, and the leaderboard will be only other Platinum players. The same goes for if you're Masters, you'll be in the Masters Rumble, which will have other Masters players on the leaderboard. And you'll be able to play 10 Rumble games just like before, but this time you'll be able to queue with your friends or solo queue if you'd like. You won't be restricted to only solo queuing, and just like before, you'll earn points from placement, kills, assists, and damage. And at the moment, we know there'll be a unique badge depending on which rank tournament you play as a reward, but we don't know how you qualify for that reward, if it's the top reward or the bottom reward, and we don't know any of the other rewards. There might be some unique legend or weapon skins like we saw in the previous Rumble tournament. But here are the badges that you will be able to earn from the ranked Rumble tournaments. Obviously one for each rank, but like I said, we don't know all the details. But it will be fun to have another Rumble style tournament, and you should be able to use legend tokens again to get 10 more tries and try to beat your previous score. Let's hope it actually works this time though. Of course, we can't really not mention the fact that quads will be replacing duos for the rest of Season 21. Sorry for any of you duos mains, you're still not going to be playing it this season. In quads, there'll be 15 teams of 4 players, so it'll still be 60 players per game. And as for the loot that spawns, there'll be increased ammo on the ground, and each ammo box will contain more ammo. There'll also be increased healing items, scopes, and deployables scattered around, and there's a chance to find blue or purple kitted weapons around the map. Now, if you did like solos and you didn't want it to go, well, don't worry, because it will be back as an LTM on July 9th for 2 weeks. I'm not sure how that will play out. I'm sure a lot of people will still play it, but there might be slightly longer queue times. Now, Season 21 gave the Void Legends a pretty nice buff that highlighted enemies in red when you're phasing through the void. But this sucked for Mirage mains because it would only highlight the real Mirage and not his decoys, making it super obvious who the real Mirage was. But lucky for you guys, this has now been fixed, so that all Mirage decoys will be highlighted in red, so you'll be able to bamboozle the altars, the ashes, and the wraiths. The new map rotation for the second split of Season 21 will be Broken Moon, Kings Canyon, and Olympus in pubs, and for ranked, it will be Broken Moon, Olympus, and World's Edge. So for the first time, you'll be able to play Olympus with the new legend altar, and the smart players watching this will have already figured out that this has potential to be pure chaos. For any viewers that aren't following, Olympus is basically a map floating above a death pit, and if you fall off the map, well, you're dead. So Altar's tactical that lets you teleport through surfaces has a lot of potential to portal you out of the map and plummeting to your doom. Now, luckily, Respawn added this to the patch notes. They said, we've added logic to prevent most cases of placing a void passage resulting in falling to your death post-travel. Olympus should be safe-ish. That's right, they said it will be safe-ish. So it seems like there's still going to be a bunch of spots where Altar's portal will get you killed, so keep an eye out on social media for these kind of clips, because I'm sure it'll make for some good laughs. And see if you can find any spots where you could bamboozle enemies by placing an altar portal that will send them off the map, and see if they follow it. Now, for you mixtape enjoyers, Respawn are improving the spawn logic. They're decreasing the chance of spawning in the sight of enemies, so there should be less spawn killing going on. We'll have to see with that one. And you'll also spawn closer to your teammates more often, so it should just improve the flow of the game every time you have to respawn. And finally, here are the weapon buffs and nerfs for the new update. The G7 Scout is getting a buffed fire rate and recoil control with 1 extra damage, dealing 33 damage per shot instead of 32. The Havoc is getting its magazine size nerfed for all of the extended mags, which you can see on screen here. There's a tiny longbow headshot buff, and they've buffed the R99 recoil slightly by making it less random. And finally, the Rampage animation is now a bit less crazy, making it easier to ADS and hit your shots. So there you go, that's all the huge changes that you need to know going into the brand new update tomorrow. And of course, check out the awesome skins that are coming in the Double Take Collection event. We have Revenant dressed as Conduit, Octane dressed as Altar, Altar dressed as Octane, Fuse dressed as Crypto, Crypto dressed as Fuse, and Conduit dressed as Revenant. It's pretty cool, and the Lifeline Prestige skin, well, let me know your thoughts on that, because I don't think this is a great representation for Lifeline's Prestige skin since she's cosplaying as Caustic. I don't know, I don't think it fits the vibe. I think it's a cool skin, but for her Prestige skin, I feel like I would have wanted something that, you know, screams Lifeline a lot more. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the update tomorrow.